Alright everybody, so we're going to play this black-green sapling deck that we drafted going into round one. Let's hope that things work out for us. I want to pull out that 3-0 victory. And I want you all to see me pull out that 3-0 victory. Straight into the game. There we go. Our opponent decides to keep his hand. And we have a lot of really good cards. Guy's Protector. I didn't even see that this was in our main board. Hopefully this works out well for us. I'd much rather have different cards from my sideboard in. We're going to keep this hand. We got lands to cast our spells, and we got spells to tap our lands. All of the fungus synergy. That'd be sweet if they made this guy a fungus, but they didn't. Our opponent plays a Land of War Elves turn 1, so this is probably the guy that ripped the Verdant Force from our pack 1. I'm not too worried about it. We go into our turn. First card that we draw, we are going to see Yavimaya Shepherd. Alright, so another card that we're able to cast. I'm really liking this deck right now. This is super sweet. We'll go ahead and lead with a Swamp and immediately pass it over to our opponent. We don't have anything to do. Hopefully he attacks with the Land of War Elves instead of just throws out a 3-drop, but we'll see where things go. Alright, he's going to play Shauna Sisei's Legacy. That card's going to be insane if Verdant Force shows its face later on in the draft. He attacks with the Land of War Elves. Mana Dork coming in hot. So I'm going to take one down to 19. And go into my second turn. Hoping to see some more good fungus sapling synergy. Alright, so we hit our fourth land. That's going to let Gaia's Protector be cast. I don't really feel good about Gaia's Protector right now. We do need to get some board presence. I don't like casting this right now, but I want to be able to block if he decides that Land of War Elves needs to come through again. If he decides that, he most likely has a combat trick and I won't block anyways. But we will gladly get some sort of board presence out there. Alright, our opponent plays a Forest, and he taps 4 for a 5/3 Juggernaut. Alright, so big fat Juggernaut. Attacks each combat if able. Obviously, we're going to be able to block that, so I'm not necessarily worried about it. We are not going to block this Shauna, though. Spore Crown Thallid is going to come in handy over these next couple turns. We definitely need to get some sort of power on board, and it's Fungus and Sapperling Lord ability. Works well with almost every card we have in our hands. So we're going to play a Swamp. We're going to go ahead and jam Yavimaya Shepherd out there. Yavimaya Shepherd is now a 3/3, and our Sapling will be a 2/2. That's going to let us block that Juggernaut, which feels super good. It will have to attack into us. Hopefully our opponent doesn't have any insane combat tricks, but it is game 1, so we might be learning a whole lot about our opponent's deck here. Alright, our opponent is making some decisions. This is pretty scary right now. He played a Plains. He's at 5 mana. Hopefully he's not trying to figure out if he wants to throw Blessed Light. Okay, Pegasus Courser. When Pegasus Courser attacks, Juggernaut gets flying. Juggernaut's not going to have flying because I will be blocking Juggernaut with my Shepherd. And do I want to take 4 from Sisei's Legacy? I think we're fine taking 4. We go down to 12. Slimefoot is in our hands, so we're going to be receiving a little bit of... Oh, that was brutal. That was insane. Okay, so we're going to be taking 5, and our Lord just died. So I think we're out of the game at this point. Especially when we rip a land right off the top. I don't think we have a whole lot that we can do here. He's going to give that Juggernaut flying or that Shauna flying and come in for a lot of damage. But we're definitely going to try to hold out. I don't want to give up yet. Our opponent is on the other side of the screen laughing at us right now because he is very much winning this game. Alright, so he's swinging with team. Juggernaut is coming through. And there's not a whole lot I can do. Sapperling is going to block the Sisei's Legacy. Actually, we'll block with the Deathbloom Thallid. And take 6 in the air, putting us to 5. And I don't think there's a whole lot in our deck that we can draw that's going to win us the game next turn. Don't have any removal at all. And yeah, we rip land, so we're going to go ahead and concede this game and go into game 2, hoping that his draw isn't insane. That was a good deck. Alright, so Guy's Protector, we're moving that out. I forgot that was even in our main board. Pretty sad. Do we start splashing white? Invoke the Divine seems really good. I want to be able to kill that. I don't think it's enough to splash white for, but it is removal. And the removal that we have is non-existent. I made a mistake. Oh well. Cabal Paladin, we got a 4-2. Feral Abomination. If we can last that long in the game. Pierce the Sky is definitely going to be coming in. If he's going to be giving his Juggernauts and stuff flying, we want to be able to block it. I think that's a really good card to throw in against the opponent here. And we'll call it good. Hopefully this one sideboard card, just in case he draws his Pegasus, is good enough to pull us out of these next 2 games. Alright, so we lost. We're definitely going to be playing first. We see 2 lands and spells that cost way more than 2 aside from Song of Freyalise. This is a bad hand. We're going to go ahead and mulligan it. And we mulligan into 4 lands, a Spore Crown Thallid, and a Deathbloom Thallid. This is good. We'll keep it. And a Grow from the Ashes. I like it. Alright, so we lead with a Swamp. Pass it over to our opponent. Our opponent plays a Forest. And ends turn. Alright, so no turn 1 Llanowar Elves. I'm digging that. We're going to go ahead and drop the Thallid out. And hopefully our opponent doesn't have anything that can just get through. I'd like to be able to do something this game. That second game was highly unimpressive. Blood Tallow Candle. Alright, so neg 5. Once he hits all the lands that he needs. We're going into our turn. We hit Blood Liturgist. No, we're not paying for that. What is this doing? Let's go ahead and attack. We will swing in for 2. Our opponent will hopefully be taking 2. They take 2. And we go into our second main phase, casting Deathbloom Thallid, which will be a 4-3 with the Spore Crown Thallid's ability. And when it dies, we'll get a 1-1 creature token. So cards that we want to see off the top of our deck. Not a forest, but that's what we got. So go ahead and jam the forest down. Maybe. Okay, it was it wasn't our turn. Let's go ahead and move to combat. Both creatures coming in for a total of 6 damage. Are we going to see a Gideon's Reproach here? We do not. So 6 damage gets through, puts our opponent to 12, and we'll end our turn by casting Whisper. That way we can cast Grow from the Ashes next turn for its full ability if we don't draw anything super crazy. Whisper is also just going to add that extra board presence that we need, so we can throw some bodies at our opponent. Alright, opponent plays Llanowar Scout, so he will be able to put land from his hand onto the battlefield. And he's ending turn, so we're looking pretty good right now. No land off the top. Yavimaya Shepherd, that is very good. Very, very, very good. Alright, so what do we do here? Let's go ahead and begin combat. I think we swing in with the Deathbloom Thallid only. Hopefully our opponent doesn't have any combat tricks. He decides to block with Llanowar Scout. And cast Adamant Will to give Llanowar Scout +2/+2 and indestructible. Alright, so Deathbloom Thallid's going to die. His Llanowar Scout will survive. So that was pretty good. We do get our 1/1 Sapperling, which is a 2/2. And we're going to go ahead and cast Yavimaya Shepherd, putting 2 more bodies onto the battlefield. And hope this is enough for our opponent to be very sad. So he drops a Plains and casts Call to the Cavalry. Okay, so he's going to get some blockers here. That's an insane card. I like that card a lot. So we can use Blood Whisper's ability. It's really bad right now. I'd rather have the Sapperlings up. The ability will be good if we do draw. Okay, so Demon Lord BELZENLOK. I'd much rather draw Slimefoot right now. I think we have enough of our Sapperlings to make Slimefoot insane, but Demon Lord BELZENLOK will do. So we're going to hit our 2 extra lands. And we're going to go ahead and move to combat. Do we swing our Yavimaya Shepherd? I think it's safe to say we swing our Yavimaya Shepherd. Why not? Let's have some fun with it. Alright, our opponent blocks with the Llanowar Scout. And he plays Arbor Armament to put a 1/1 counter and give him reach. Okay, so he has a lot of combat tricks, which is pretty good. I'm happy to see the Arbor Armament get out of his hand before Demon Lord BELZENLOK comes out. Hopefully he doesn't have three combat tricks in his hands, but we'll see where it goes. He plays Sisay's Legacy. Sisay is going to be a 4/4. Might be a little bit scared of that. And Triumph of Gerard. Alright, so this card could get a little out of control. Sisay's Legacy is going to get a permanent 1/1 counter. So it'll be a 5/5. We need to find a way to remove creatures, which we don't have. I'm a little sad that I didn't prioritize removal. We hit a land, so that's pretty sad. However, we are going to drop this BELZENLOK and hope that we see some good cards off the top. Alright, so Demon Lord BELZENLOK, it hits Windgrace Acolyte and it hits Grow from the Ashes. I think I am fine with that. Acolyte is going to be good if we throw some decent creatures into the bin. Whisper will be able to get them back. If they decide to kill our BELZENLOK, we'll be able to get it back. We'll go ahead and play our land. And we're not going to attack into any of the creatures that our opponent has. Right, so Triumph of Gerard is going to go off. Makes Shauna a 6/6. Opponent is sitting with 2 cards in hand and 5 mana untapped. Okay. Blessed Light on Demon Lord BELZENLOK. So that's pretty sad. We're going to go ahead and respond to that. We're going to sacrifice Demon Lord BELZENLOK to return Deathbloom Thallid to the battlefield. That way we're able to get Demon Lord BELZENLOK out later down the road. Also gives us a 4/2 blocker that will throw another sapling out that we can sacrifice to it. I'm fine with that. I think our opponent is wondering what the hell just happened, but I'm not. I'm giggling all my way. Giggling all the way to school. Alright, move into upkeep. So we hit a land. It's not too bad. Do we have enough to cast both spells? So we're not going to get the kicker off this. We do cast that first. I lied. So we want to dig out, get all of the lands out of our deck because we don't want to draw into any of those with Demon Lord BELZENLOK's ability. And we are going to cast Windgrace Acolyte, gaining 3 life and milling ourselves for 3. So we threw Pierce the Sky, Song of Freyalise, and a Swamp directly into the graveyard. So that feels really bad. Shauna Sisei's Legacy is going to get through with its flying ability, but we're definitely going to bring out the BELZENLOK and block with it. We can, as long as they don't have an answer for Whisper, we're going to keep getting BELZENLOK back. Alright, so we will not be attacking. We will let our opponent play and see if they drew the nuts. Alright, so Triumph of Gerard goes off. We will target Demon Lord BELZENLOK from the graveyard, sacrificing our Deathbloom Thallid and sacrificing our Sapling. So we get a Sapling. We get Demon Lord BELZENLOK back. He's entered the battlefield. Mechanic will go off. And wow, okay, so we just drew 7 cards off Demon Lord BELZENLOK. Put us to 14, which is kind of sad, but I think we're happy with the cards that we see. Helm of the Host is obviously going to be insane here, as long as our opponent doesn't have a way to just swing in for the win. Alright, so Shauna's coming through. We're going to go ahead and block with our Windgrace Acolyte. They will be gaining 6 life from the lifelink, putting them to 18. Alright, and Trapper comes out. Going to our turn, Stronghold Confessor off the top. We definitely want to get rid of that 7/7 over there. We have a Home of the Host. So, beginning of combat, we're going to be making copies of creatures we control. I don't think making a copy of Demon Lord BELZENLOK is the answer. Does a creature gain haste? It does gain haste, but it's going to draw us into cards that maybe we don't necessarily want. Thorn Elemental could be good. It doesn't have reach, which feels bad. Thallid Omnivore, if we had... All we need is our Slimefoot. We need to see Slimefoot. So we have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 lands. I feel good about that. So let's go ahead and attack. I think we do want to attack with our Demon Lord BELZENLOK. This Trapper might be tapping our creatures down. So Demon Lord BELZENLOK will go through. Let's see if he has an answer for it. It'd be pretty saddening. Does not. All right. So our opponent takes 6, and I think we're gonna cast. We're gonna cast our Mammoth Spider. So we have a blocker up for that. Any flyer that might be coming out. We have a total of 6 mana left. I think we want to play Stronghold Confessor. And we'll play the Blood Tallow Candle as well, just to get it out there. Alright, and if everything goes as planned, we should be able to win next turn with Helm of the Host on Demon Lord BELZENLOK, as long as we don't draw more than 14 cards. Our opponent passes turn. Alright, and our upkeep, we draw Sapling Migration. Cool, so we're going to go ahead and tap out for Helm of the Host. We are going to use Helm of the Host's ability to Demon Lord BELZENLOK, and let's go ahead and begin our combat step. We will create a copy of Demon Lord BELZENLOK. Draws us into Slimefoot and Dark Bargain, putting us to 12. And we will see if he has any way to get rid of 12 damage here. Alright, so that won us the game. Super sweet. Demon Lord BELZENLOK, 7 cards off the top rip. I think it's safe to say that he was the bomb we were looking for. That was fun. Alright, so we need to pull out a third game. I do need to be a little wary of the time that I have, because if that runs out, it gets really sad. And essentially I lose, even if I have enough to win. Alright, so our opponent is definitely going to spend a little bit of time in his sideboard. I think with the white he's playing, artifact removal is going to be strong. Helm of the Host did me a lot of work there. Demon Lord BELZENLOK was definitely the MVP of that game. And it was cool. I had enough mana to cast pretty much anything in my deck. Grun the Lonely King with the kicker for a 10-10. That would have been sweet. We did see that Dark Bargain, which wasn't necessary. We had enough card draw regardless. Whisper Blood Liturgist. I did lie. Demon Lord BELZENLOK would have not done so well if Whisper was not on the battlefield at the time. Whisper definitely did work. Being able to sacrifice Demon Lord BELZENLOK to his exile spell was what won us the game there. Alright, so 3 lands. We have enough to cast Slimefoot. Helm of the Host is in our hand. We got some card draw going on. This is going to be a pretty lame hand if we don't draw into some good spells early, but we're going to keep it. Opponent opens up with a Land of War Elves. Alright, that's pretty good. Our upkeep, we draw Grun the Lonely King. Alright, that's not what you want to see off the top. So we play our Swamp, pass turn to opponent. Our opponent plays a Plains, taps Land of War Elves to cast the 3/2 Trapper. Alright, that seems good. We go into our turn, and we see a second land. We're happy about that. Or sorry, a fourth land. We're playing our second land. So we'll be taking quite a bit of damage this turn. We'll be able to cast Slimefoot the Stowaway next turn. Hopefully our opponent won't have a way to immediately get rid of him. I think if he does, it's safe to say that we probably lost the game. But we're still going to try to make this work. So Deathbloom Thallid, this is a little bit better than Slimefoot right now. We're glad to see that off the top of the deck. We will play that and see if our opponent is going to tell us to go home. Little does he know I'm already home, so he can say whatever he wants. Alright, so our opponent attacks with the 3-2. We're going to block it. I don't know if he has any good historic spells in his deck to tap my stuff down, but I'm getting my Saproling regardless. Our opponent taps for Call to the Cavalry, so he does have 2/2/2 Vigilance. And we see another copy of Deathbloom Thallid. So we're happy to cast another copy of Deathbloom Thallid here. I don't want to just jam Slimefoot out if our opponent is going to have some sort of removal, especially with 5 lands up. Alright, so I have 11 minutes and 23 seconds to try to pull out this game. We're going to try to make this work. So blocks as such, we're going to block one of those night creature tokens and let 2 damage come through. Saprolings are going to be pretty good for us here with Slimefoot on the battlefield. Alright, so we draw a land. That's good. Helm of the Host will show its face. I think Windgrace Acolyte is the play here. Slimefoot, it's going to be really sad if he gets removed, especially with just the 2 Saprolings. I'm going to go ahead and play Slimefoot. That way I'm not super scared of blocking with my Saproling creature tokens. Opponent has 4 cards in hand with a total of 7 mana up. Okay, it's our girl, Shauna. We've had to see this girl every single game, which hurts a little bit, but I'm not too worried about it. Alright, so move to blocks. We're going to go ahead and block with both of the Saplings here. Try to trade for that Knight token. Also lower Shauna to a 2/2 as long as our opponent doesn't have... There it is, Arbor Armament. Alright, so his Knight will survive. We lose both of our Saplings, but we will drain a little bit. So that's cool. One more land off the top would be pretty sweet. It allows us to cast Grune. I think we're going to just hard cast Grune here. 5/5 is good. Alright, our opponent ends turn. I think Grune was enough to scare him away, huh? Alright, so Windgrace Acolyte is coming out now. It's going to have us have a little bit of flying presence. Also gain us a little bit of life. Hopefully we don't throw anything super crazy into our graveyard. We'll find out. Is our opponent going to counter this spell? Probably not. You're not playing blue. Alright, so 4 Swamp and Thallid Omnivore into the graveyard. We're not necessarily sad about that. We are going to gain 3 life, which feels good. We'll play Blood Hollow Candle, so we're able to remove any of the creatures that he decides to play next turn. I want Grune to be able to attack in and do a lot of damage. Probably should have attacked with him last turn, but our opponent has quite a bit of... Oh, the Broken Bond. I should have taken that. Okay, so we're not killing nothing. I guess I'm fine with that. He tapped out, so none of his combat tricks are going to show up. We will draw a Mammoth Spider. Okay, so we'll go ahead and attack. I think we leave Grune back for... No, let's have a party. Grune's coming in. His attack and toughness will double, so he will be a 10/10 when he's attacking. Our opponent blocks with the Llanowar Elves. Get wrecked, scrub. Alright, we go to our second main. Let's just go ahead and jam our copy of Helm of the Host out. Alright, and our opponent immediately concedes to the Helm of the Host. Sweet, so we pulled out our first game. Excellent. I'll see you all in game 2.